So today I'm going to do a video on top tips to maximise your trip to Walt Disney World. So obviously with summer holidays coming up and May bank holiday weekends and holidays in May for schools and stuff, now is like the busiest time of year at Walt Disney World. So I thought I would do basically a couple of tips that I would definitely always do to make sure that I'm going to get the most out of the time that I'm spending at Disney, even when it is super duper busy. So my first tip would be to stay on site. So I know Disney hotels can be more expensive, well they are more expensive than other hotels, but even the value hotels are really, really nice. If you go on my blog, I've done a big post comparing moderate value and deluxe resorts, and in comparison, value are like really good, especially for getting all of the special like extras that you get for staying at Walt Disney World resorts, but not paying like ridiculous amounts of money per night. So yeah, staying on site is a definite plus. You get transport to and from MCO, I can't remember what it actually stands for, the Orlando Airport, the main one. You get transport to and from Disney World for free on the Magical Express, and like they'll pick up your bags for you if you're flying internally from America. They don't do that if you're flying from the UK, as far as I'm aware. They've never done it for me. I've always had to go get my own bags and take them to the actual Magical Express bit, but that's not really that much of a hassle. So yeah, you get that for free, which would normally cost you like, I don't even know, like on the Maze shuttles it's about $20–25 each way per person. So you're saving yourself like a decent amount of money doing that. Also you get free transportation around Walt Disney World, so around the parks. If you're staying at a Disney World hotel and you're driving there, then you get free parking all around Walt Disney World that you don't have to pay. Or you can just park at your hotel and get the buses in, which is sometimes easier because the traffic around Walt Disney World can be really bad. Another thing that you get is kind of what leads me on to my next thing, which is fast passes. So when you stay in Walt Disney World Resort, you get to book your fast passes 60 days in advance, whereas if you aren't staying in Walt Disney World Resort, then you can only book them 30 days in advance. But definitely book them. Like, I cannot stress this enough. Like, with the old fast pass system, you just went on the day, you got your fast passes, you had to get there early in the morning if you wanted rides like Toy Story Mania. Now, that doesn't happen anymore. If you want those rides that are really popular, you need to book your fast passes in advance. Like, really, I cannot stress this enough. Like, if you don't want to be queuing, then you need to book them. I mean, I think they do release like a certain number that are only from the day, but I really wouldn't like bank on that at all. I would also like, say you wanted to do like 2 parks in one day, it's really good for like doing an afternoon park. So like when we went, we did say like one of the water parks in the morning, and then in the afternoon went to Hollywood Studios. Now with the old fast pass system, there would be no way that we would get a fast pass for Toy Story Mania at that kind of time of day. Whereas because we'd already booked it in advance, we booked a fast pass for like 6 o'clock in the evening. So we got there, had some lunch, and we got a fast pass for Star Tours, for Toy Story, and for Terror Terror. So it was really nice. So we had to queue for Rock and Roller Coaster, but that was it. So yeah, definitely make use of the fast pass plus system. Also, don't waste your fast pass. So really, just use it for stuff that's going to have a long queue. So things like Peter Pan's Flight. If you know your kids are really going to want to go on Peter Pan's Flight, get the fast pass for it, because the queue for that is always ridiculously long. Don't waste it on stuff like Monsters Laugh Floor or even Buzz Lightyear, because seriously, the queue for that is never that long. Sometimes it might go up to an hour. If you go later on in the day, like, that queue will be really short. So just make sure that you use your fast pass plus selections wisely. Another thing that I would seriously recommend that you do is dining reservations. Now, if you want a proper sit-down table service meal, then the likelihood of actually going there on the day and being like, can I have a table at this restaurant, and getting one is very slim. So definitely, if you have like set places that you really want to go and eat at, say like Be Our Guest, you really do need to have a reservation if you want to do table service there. If you want to do lunch, that's fine, you can do quick service, you don't need a reservation. But if you want to do dinner, then get a reservation. The reservations are, oh gosh, 100 and I can't remember. I want to say like 180 days in advance. I could be wrong, but we'll go with 180 days in advance. And for the most popular restaurants, if you want a decent time, then really you need to be on the ball and get it on that 180 days. Yeah, so dining reservations are great. Another great thing about dining reservations is for some of the parks, especially Magic Kingdom, you can book a breakfast for before the park opens. So say if you wanted to do a couch breakfast at Crystal Palace and the park opens at 9, there's a good chance that there'll be dining reservations available at 8:05 or like that kind of hour before the park opens. If it's not extra magic hours as well, this is especially good because you can get into the park and you can take some pictures in front of the castle, and you can get into the park like a good 20 minutes before your reservation as well. So you've got time to like wander up Main Street when it's like dead, get some like awesome pictures because there'll be no one in front of the castle. You can obviously only go so far up because they keep all the ramps shut, but like the whole hub area, as far as I'm aware, should be open. And yeah, and then you can also get your breakfast and you could be finished by 9 when the park opens, and then you're already in the park, so you're kind of ahead of the crowds, which is really good. So you definitely, like especially now as well because they've got VR guests for breakfast. I don't know if they're going to do before park open reservations there, but if they do, then getting all the way back to Fantasyland before the park opens is a definite plus. Another plus of actually staying in the hotel, which I forgot to mention before, is extra magic hours. Like how could I forget that when it's like the most important? Extra magic hours means that if you are staying on property, then you can have an extra hour or an extra 2 hours either before the park opens or after the park opens in the park, which is only for guests of Walt Disney World resort hotels. With like literally probably about half the capacity of people in the park, it's like great. And especially in the morning because a lot of people won't bother getting up to go and use the extra magic hours. Yeah, just do it. Go and do it. When extra magic hours is at night as well, a lot of the time, not say a lot of the time, most of the time, a lot of families with young kids, all their kids will be like exhausted by this point. So extra magic hours are really quite quiet. Like you can probably like walk on rides, most of the rides. Some rides will probably say they've got a long queue time, but most of the time I'd say it's probably just to kind of ward people off the ride. So like Space Mountain will probably keep like an hour queue time up until it closes, but it's probably not an hour queue time, it's probably like a 10-minute queue. So use your judgment, because it could be an hour, but it's probably not going to be. They'll have shortened the queue quite a lot. A tip, even if you're not a Walt Disney World Resort guest, would still be to get and try and do park open or stay till park close. Because those 2 times a day, even if it's a day when there's not extra magic hours, those 2 times a day are going to be less busy. I think a lot of people kind of head to the parks probably about 10 in the morning, 11 in the morning. So if you can get there before that point, then the crowds are going to be a lot less busy. People who are travelling from like other hotels probably won't have got there yet. So it's definitely like good to get there early. And if you stay late again, a lot of families will be tired, they'll have gone home, and especially like after Wishes. Like a lot of, like after Wishes is over, majority of that crowd that's there is going to be leaving. So if you stay, then you've got like probably like a good hour if there's not extra magic hours, or if the park hours haven't been extended. Sometimes you can have an extra like 3 hours, because sometimes Wishes is at 10 and the park's open until like 1, like especially around like 4th of July. Another tip that I would definitely suggest is watching later shows. So for, say, Fantasmic, there's 2 showings of Fantasmic. There's obviously the one that's at about 9, yeah, one at 9 and one normally at 10:30. Especially like in the summer season, that's likely what the times are. So if you've got a choice, I would choose the 10:30 one. Because the 9 o'clock one, when you go, it'll be busy and you'll be, if you don't get there like really early, you'll be sat like either side, quite far out, unless you've got like the dining package. So yeah, if you go at like the 10:30 one, you can rock up at like 10:15. There'll be seats probably like anywhere that you want to sit, because literally like no one will be there. It's great. If you do the Fantasmic dinner package though, then the only time slot that applies to is the first one. So if you want to make use of that, then you need to go to the first one. But you do have like a blocked off area right in the middle, which is for you. And when we went, we probably got there about 10 past, 9:15, and oh no wait, 9:45, God. And it was like pretty empty. Another thing that has more than one show is the electrical parade at night in Magic Kingdom. So the first one, streets are probably going to be lined with people, you're not going to get a particularly great view. However, if you watch the second one, especially if you go like round near Frontierland, you can probably just stand anywhere on the parade route without having to look over anyone. Like there'll be hardly anyone there. Main Street might still be a little bit busy, but especially if you go around near Frontierland, literally like you'll get a good view if you went there the minute it started. So I definitely recommend going for the later ones if you can. My last tip for maximising your trip to Walt Disney World is to plan. It probably sounds like a simple-ish one, but the amount of people that I know who go there and don't have any plan whatsoever scares me. I am someone who will plan like everything like properly. You probably don't need to go to the extremes that I go to, but at least knowing which park you want to go to each day, which day extra magic hours are, fitting your diner reservations and FastPass Plus reservations in, you're going to need some kind of plan if you want to do that. And I like knowing like when the parades are that I want to watch, and I'll put them all in like a spreadsheet. I go quite far, but you don't have to go that far, but at least knowing what you're going to do on what day and what you want to get out of that day will definitely help, and you'll probably feel like you have done more. So yeah, those are my top tips for maximising your trip to Walt Disney World. Have you got any other tips that I've not mentioned? If you have, then comment below or message me. I'd love to know them. I'm off to Disneyland this year, so any tips on maximising my trip at Disneyland, please let me know. And thank you for watching.